Bright blessed day, dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Would you please be seated? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the County Thistle for the wedding of Simon and Laura. My name is Barry Forshaw. I'm the Deputy Superintendent Registrar for the City of Newcastle upon Tyne, and I'll be conducting the ceremony today. This is my colleague Terry Fox. His job is to register the marriage and seal all the legal requirements on them. This place in which we are now met has been duly sanctioned according to law for the celebration of marriage. And if any person knows of any lawful reason why Simon and Laura may not be joined in matrimony, he should declare it now. Before you pledge yourselves to each other in marriage, it is my duty to remind you of the solemn and lasting character of the vows you are about to make to each other. Marriage, according to the laws of this country, is the union of one man and one woman, voluntarily entered into for life to the exclusion of all others. Marriage enables two people to share their strengths and their weaknesses, their hopes and their fears, their desires and aspirations, their doubts and disappointments. It is an opportunity for mutual support which can enhance all of life's experiences. Sorrows are halved and joys are doubled. I'm going to ask each of you in turn to declare that you're legally free to marry, so Simon, if you would repeat the words first after me. I do solemnly declare that I know not of any lawful impediment why I, Simon Joyce, may not be joined in matrimony to Laura Wilson. Laura, I do solemnly declare that I know not of any lawful impediment why I, Laura Wilson, may not be joined in matrimony to Simon Joyce. The purpose of marriage is that you may always love, care for and support each other through all the joys and sorrows of life, and that love may be fulfilled in a relationship of permanent and continual commitment. We trust that these things come true for you. The institution of marriage must be entered into freely, voluntarily, and with the full and unreserved consent of you all. Therefore, do you, Simon, take Laura here present to be your lawful wedded wife?
I do.
And do you, Laura, take Simon here present to be your lawful wedded husband? It's now time for our first reading. This is an Apache blessing.
Now you will feel no rain, for each of you will be shelter for each other. Now you will feel no cold, for each of you will be warm for the other. Now there is no more loneliness for you, for each of you will be companion to the other. Now you are two persons, but there's only one life before you. Go now to your dwelling place to enter into the days of your life together, and may your days be good and long upon the earth. Treat yourselves and each other with respect, and remind yourselves often of what brought you together. Give the highest priority to the tenderness, gentleness, and kindness that your connection deserves. When frustration, difficulty, and fear assail your relationship, as they threaten all relationships at one time or another, remember to focus on what is right between you, not only the part which seems wrong. In this way, you can ride out the storms when clouds hide the face of the sun in your lives, remembering that if you lose sight of it for a moment, the sun is still there. And if each of you takes responsibility for the quality of your life together, it will be marked by abundance and delight.
In the presence of your family and friends, you are now going to enter into the legal contract of your marriage. So you to face each other. Hold hands if you can. Inside, if you would repeat the words first.
Yeah.
I call upon these persons
I call upon these persons
here present to witness
here present to witness
that I, Simon Joycey,
that I, Simon Joycey,
do take thee, Laura Wilson,
do take thee, Laura Wilson,
to be my lawful wedded wife.
to be my lawful wedded wife.
From this day forward,
From this day forward,
I give you my life.
I give you my life.
By giving love and understanding,
By giving love and understanding,
I will find my happiness with you.
I will find my happiness with you.
Laura. I call upon these persons
I call upon these persons
here present to witness
here present to witness
that I, Laura Wilson,
that I, Laura Wilson,
do take thee, Simon Joycey,
do take thee, Simon Joycey,
to be my lawful wedded husband.
to be my lawful wedded husband.
From this day forward,
From this day forward,
I give you my life.
I give you my life.
By giving love and understanding,
By giving love and understanding,
I will find my happiness with you.
I will find my happiness with you.
Marriage is a desire by two people to share themselves and their experiences with each other, and a willingness to accept each other for who they are. Marriage means making a commitment to developing cooperation, friendship, and mutual respect. It calls for honesty, patience, and of course humour. Marriage is where each partner cares for the other and supports them in all that they do. It demands courage. The courage to be open, the courage to grow and to change, and the courage to sort out together the tasks for every day. Marriage requires closeness and distance. The closeness of a couple growing together and enough distance to allow each partner to be an individual. A good partner in such a marriage will be loving, caring, and above all the best. Now our second reading today is entitled These I Can Promise, and this is to be read by Sarah Paul.
I cannot promise you a life of sunshine. I cannot promise riches, wealth or gold. I cannot promise you an easy pathway that leads away from change or growing old. But I can promise all my heart's devotion, a smile to chase away your tears of sorrow, a love that's ever true and ever growing, and a hand to hold in north through each tomorrow.
We now come to the giving of the wedding rings. This is the traditional and the ancient way of sealing the contract that you've made, and it is an outward sign of the lifelong promises that you've made to each other. So Michael's looking after the rings for a second. If you have Laura's ring to sign, please. You can just seal the ring on Laura's ring. This is the ring. All right. So that's the ring for your finger, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what
Panic in there while I give the program.
That's
Switch
okay, if you
them.
just hold it in place. That's it. If you just repeat the words after me. I give you this ring
I give you this ring
as a symbol of my love and affection.
as a symbol of my love and affection.
Please wear it with a feeling
Please wear it with a feeling
of warmth and pride.
of warmth and pride.
May this ring remind us of this moment
May this ring remind us of this moment
and the commitment I have made to you.
and the commitment I have made to you.
Just the ring. Michael, if we can have the second ring for Laura. Just hold the ring on to us and repeat after me. I give you this ring
I give you this ring
as a symbol of my love and affection.
as a symbol of my love and affection.
Please wear it with a feeling
Please write with a feeling
of warmth and pride.
of warmth and pride.
May this ring remind us of this moment
May this ring remind us of this moment
and the commitment I have made to you.
and the commitment I have made to you.
All of your family and friends gathered here today wish you both the joy and happiness that mutual love can bring. Look forward confidently to a future in which you and the world in which you live will be a better and happier place for this joyful occasion. It gives me great pleasure, Simon and Laura, to say that you are now husband and wife. Congratulations. I just ask everybody not to take any photographs for the time being. Once the official photographer's taken some shots, you'll have an opportunity then.
See a parade there and the wrong ring.
I know many of you travelled a long way, some from the furthest part of the country, and we've got Laura's Aunt Mary, she's from Sri Lanka. Unfortunately, what we haven't got the other day is her uncle, who's ill, can't attend. I believe is coming out of the hospital this afternoon. So we wish him all good recovery. But the people who've travelled the furthest are obviously Laura. They've come all the way from Australia. Now, when they first said they got engaged and were going to get married, they did talk about getting married in Australia, and we did, but Laura was still going to come home for the party. So we thought, we're trying to put to them out, you're going to come home at Christmas, why you don't come home and get married at the same time, you know? Anyway, I thought that was the best way to do it. And she, I think they must have conferred and they agreed with that thing to do. What we didn't realise at the time was, although they're British citizens and they've got houses in the UK, i.e. North Shields and Whitney Bay, that they didn't qualify for residency qualification. So they had to be here for 7 clear days to get married here, which meant 8 days, because the day the land doesn't count. Then they have to go to the registry office, then they've got 15 clear days. So they had to be actually, from landing in the country, they had to be here for 26 days. So we've got the calendar out, and we worked out that if they came on this day and we had the wedding on another day, that it would be okay. So Laura then said, well, I've only got 4 weeks holiday, Dad. So anyway, out of that 4 weeks holiday, 26 of the days was done with filling the residential qualifications. Then we had problems with snow, and we thought we were never going to get here, but we did. One thing I want to say is, I want to thank you for coming, but also it's on a Friday, which I know people have had to take time off to work. But it isn't on a Friday, arranged for a Friday, a conflict, because we thought Newcastle were playing Sunderland on Saturday. It wasn't fixed up for that reason. It's fitted in quite nicely, but they've obviously moved the fixture to Sunday, if there was a day to recover anyway. So, do that. Anyway, this was a long distance arrangement, and even with the time span, we were bothered, you know, whether they would make it. Because Heathrow was closed, well that's great. We were looking at the weather forecast, as Newcastle being closed, etc., etc. Anyway, they arrived on time and everything's basically gone well. But to make the wedding arrangements, this had to be conducted by computer, telephone calls, or emails, second versions of people who were invited, etc., etc. And then you have the choice of venue. Well, obviously, that specific instructions, it had to be where people was accessible. We didn't want it out in the country where people had to pay, taxis, etc., etc. So anyway, we went around loads of places people do when they arrange marriages, and we settled down. I think there's about 3 venues that were in the town, but we had to call in our friends, I think Roz and Joe, to sort of give the final verdict on where we would go, and they settled on here. So I'd like to thank Roz and Joe at least for picking the venue. I hope you think the venue is okay. What I was going to say is what a wonderful view we've had, etc., etc. I can't say that, so let's move on. What I can say is, yeah, it's been a hectic time for Laura again about the arrangements. She's had to. I won't have to say that, Laura. It's been a hectic time for Laura because what she's had to do is, in a 4-week span, she's had to try and meet her friends, meet her relations, meet Simon's friends and relations. And I think she's managed to do that. And it's nice to see Laura's closest friend here today, who she's known for a long time. And she's managed to fit that in, and she's also managed to somehow fit in the 12 days, 10 days skiing holiday in Switzerland. I think it's a bit of a whistle-stop tour, basically, but I think she's managed it all. And all I can say is, if you want to have a word with her during this evening, please do so. Make it as quick as possible, because tomorrow they're flying back to Brisbane, where you might have the floor tours, boats or whatever. Apparently our apartment hasn't been flooded, but whether she'll be able to get back, I don't know. But anyway, that's the. Now then, I think what I've got to say is a few words about Laura. And this is without any interruption. So Laura, be on your best behaviour. First of all, I'd like to say how proud I was to walk down the aisle with her. Doesn't she look good?
Yeah.
It's very rare to see Laura in a dress. I don't think I've seen her in a dress more than 5 or 6 times, to be honest. At least not since she was what I would call grown up. She's a Saturday's child. She works hard for a living. I think she's worked hard at school, university, and for her accounting exam. I must just say, I think I helped her a lot. But I don't think it was much appreciated. Sometimes it wasn't even welcome, was it? She's a bright and bubbly character, I think. Makes friends easily. And again, repeating what I said before, it's nice to see her closest friends from both Rachel and Beth, who places she's known all her life. Our friends from university, and our close friends from starting work or taking our examination. So it's nice to see them here today. She loves sports and outdoors, and one of the earliest memories of her was playing in the street with all her boys. There's always been a bit of a, I think a bit of a tomboy, but on the other hand, there weren't any other girls in the street, so she had to either play with them when she was sort of 5 or 6, or she wouldn't be playing with her brother. They did let her play with them, but she was usually goalkeeper. I didn't let her play outside very much. But one of the things she did do, I think, she was still sort of kicking the ball about. We used to live at Seaton Sluice, and the middle schools just across the road. So she often would go in there, and I think they would kick a ball about. Laura managed to break the school window, kick and I made her go and apologise to the caretaker, but she was quite good. I think she was only about 5 at the time. The thing was that the council sent us a bill. Oh, I'm trying to teach my kids to be honest, not pay bills. So I didn't pay the bill. I will charge a 5-year-old. I also remember some of Newcastle support and used to take Tony and took her to a football match in Newcastle. And I was in strict instructions to look after her. Anyway, I was in the Gallagher Den, and you know, the old timers used to have the concrete barriers, the Gallagher Den, sat her on there. What did she do? She fell off. I mean, real sure enough. Right. Anyway, she's a sporting team, she's a good swimmer. She played netball for the school. She played for the county, played netball at the university. Another thing I remember about her, she was always very careful with money when she was younger. Just because we kept her short of the pocket. Anyway, one day I think she parted about 10 or 20 pence on a Grand National. And we were watching it on the telly, and Laura's horse was in front. In fact, it was quite a long way in front, coming up to the last fence. In her eyes, you know, it's like the fruit machine. 20 pence, I think she'd also good at maths. She'd already worked out how much she was going to win. And then all of a sudden it jumped over the fence, and it seemed to just stop. And her brother's horse came up behind and won. I've never seen the face turn from a smile to a glow in so many seconds. Where am I now? Hold on. We've always encouraged her to be independent and encouraged her to travel. We bought her a globe, I think, when she was about 14. And one of the first trips she went to was a school exchange. And she went to Tanzania, and they came back to us. And one of the things we did when we lived at Seaton Sluice was, well, no, I think we were begging them at the time. We took them down to the beach at Seaton Sluice, and it was strange to see these African or Tanzanian pupils. And I don't, they're that long from the beach that I've never actually seen sand. And when they were standing, their feet were sinking into the sand, and it was something I've never seen before. So that's something we know. Anyway, since leaving, I think I've lost my place. Since leaving university, there's enlarged her repertoire in sports. She now does skiing, snowboarding, cycling. She also likes nothing better, I think, than, especially in Australia, going camping at weekends. In fact, I don't know where she gets the time to fit it all in. However, most of these activities are also done by Simon. So I don't know how good a netball player. But these interests obviously created the basis for a strong partnership. Laura and Simon have known each other for 8 years now, I think, and I think these shared interests will help them, as they said in the, one of the readings, to make a long, happy marriage. Anyway, I think I've missed a bit, but I want to finish now. Just to say this is a proud day for myself and Ray, as I'm sure it is for Simon's mother and father, Tom and Karen. So what I'd like you to do now is just I'm going to propose a toast to Laura and Simon to have a long and happy marriage. I'd like to toast bride and groom. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, now your groom.
I wish to thank you, Frank, for those kind words. You're as proud as Laura as what I am as I sit here at the gate. It's just going to be a short speech, a few thank yous, and I'll try not to bore you all to tears, because I know you are all hungry. And a close friend of mine says, Simon, you really cannot mess this up. So I'm going to see how I do. First lot of thank yous is to the new in-laws, proud parents of Laura, helping us sort out the wedding and dealing with all the stress, as we have been over 10,000 miles away in Australia. But largely, it's been like, as Frank says, over emails, telephone calls, and they've done a really great job in organising this venue. I think everyone has agreed that it's a fantastic venue in the heart of Newcastle. It's a city where we both love and are very proud to be where we come from. I wish to thank Ray for the flower, for arranging all the flowers and doing such a wonderful cake. It looks really beautiful, and I know that me and Laura are just absolutely overjoyed with it, and we can't thank you enough. Secondly, I wish to thank my parents. They have always been there for me and my brother, and always been supportive of what we have chose to do with our lives. I believe that, I think my brother will agree, that they've been the best parents they could have possibly been, and have always supported us. I remember when I was talking to my dad and parents, and was sitting down, and I was told my dad I was going to live in Australia for 44 years with Laura. He had his fork stuck in a pork chop. And his ears was a picture, but again, they have been just, rather than being negative, they have just been positive, and I can't thank them enough. And even help us pack my bags as well. Which I thought was strange at the time. Couldn't have been that bad as well. But on a serious note, I believe me and my brother had fantastic childhoods, and they have done the best of what they have could done for us. And I am certainly so proud of my parents, and I'm sure my brother Peter as well. I'd like to thank you for that. Right. Okay. Thirdly, I'd like to thank you all, special people, for turning up. For turning up to our wonderful day, sorry. And what, I wrote this 5 weeks ago, but what beautiful weather we're having. It's just quite a nice day out there in the world. We could have been celebrating our big day on a beach somewhere on the east coast of Australia. And I must like to point out our hearts are with our friends in the town of Brisbane where they've been affected by the floods, and my particular hearts go out to them and all their families. But however, this is where we call home, this is where we are both proud of our home, and it wouldn't be the same without sharing the day with so many close of our friends and family. You really, everyone in this room really does mean a lot to us, and we are so thankful of you all turning up. I can't thank you enough to share on our wonderful day. I also wish to thank my best man Michael, who I've known for about 20 years. He's been a wonderful friend over the past years and has always such a warm man, kind-hearted, and I couldn't have picked a more suitable best man. And even though I've got some very good friends here with me today, I wish to thank Imogen and Amber for being such fantastic flower girls. And they have both made this day extra special for us both. I also might make a note that Michael arranged a stag weekend for me in Edinburgh. Only Michael can do this 4 days before Christmas. Which didn't go down well with Laura whatsoever. I wish to thank my new and beautiful wife. Words can't express how proud of I am. And thank you for turning up.
Your dad will kill your dad.
Is that the Laura?
Laura. I wish, thank you for turning up where I was at. It would have been an even longer flight home to Australia by myself in economy class. And all the past experiences, I've sat down at a few weddings in the past, and grooms always have said, I'm the luckiest man alive. I found the love of my life, and I'm sure they have in their eyes. But I honestly do believe I am the luckiest man alive. And after meeting Laura, will continue to believe this for the rest of my life. Laura is intelligent, honest, kind, trustworthy, and loyal. All the attributes that make her such a special person, and who is truly one in a million. And I'm sure everyone in this room will agree that she is truly a special person. I wish to thank Grant and Ray for raising such a truly beautiful person. And today I'm proud to be joining such a close-knit and loving family. I once again thank everyone for joining us together to celebrate the first days of the rest of our lives together. So can everyone please up and stand and join me in toast to this special occasion. Yes, I need to get it. All right.
Thank you very
And for my mum.
Ladies and gentlemen, in our last please to best man, Michael Wilson.
Cheers.
First of all, where do I start after that speech from Simon? It's all downhill from here. Basically, it's been such an exciting day today that I'm absolutely speechless, which will be very good news for Simon. I've known Simon for over 20 years, and I would consider myself sort of a father figure for him. I watch him crawl around his knees, drink from a bottle, clean up after him. That's about the start night. I'm honoured to be here today, first of all to see Simon get married to Laura. Second of all, because in 20 years of knowing Simon, this is the first free meal I've ever had. Obviously best man as well. It's such an honour to be a best man for such a kind gent, you know. Basically what Frank was saying as well about the arrival for Simon and Laura coming back from Australia and all the background and things. We planned in Simon's stag do the next morning. I couldn't get in contact with Simon whatsoever, so I didn't know where he was or if he was going to be able to come. But he'd been sitting with his parents all afternoon. 9 o'clock the night before. But we would have went anywhere without him.
I was disappointed.
In regards to the stag do, I asked Simon for a list of names and contacts, emails, that type of thing for people who would want to attend. Knowing Simon, you know what I'm going to say. What did I get? An email with a list of first. So from there it was pretty hard to try and sort it, you know. But we had a good time anyway. Growing up with Simon, looking back over the years, there's a lot of times where we look back at sort of iconic times and it links in with stories that have happened to Simon. So what I'll do is now I'll go through a few, just to let you know. Basically, I don't know if anyone knew, but when we grew up, obviously in the 80s, the young thing was to have sort of pen friends. Everybody had pen friends all over the country, all over the world. Simon had a pen friend who lived 2 streets away. This is a recent one actually. I received an email from Simon. I think he was sort of being a bit witty and he decided to send us an email, and I had a bad day at work. I came home with me emails, and honestly it made my day because I've never known anybody start an email with adios amigo. I'm standing here now, people, if you didn't know Simon, you'd probably think I was making it up. Another example was we went on a lad's holiday about 10 years ago, and every morning Simon would get up and he'd be in the bathroom and he'd be in there for ages. We're trying to work out what he was doing. What we did was, one morning we were boarding and we opened the bathroom door and he's standing in the bidet. So, what are you doing? And his response was, I'm getting the sand off my feet. So, I don't know why you left the door, I don't know why you got the sand off your feet when you
Right, Mr.
He was quite young at the time, so we'll let him off, he was 21. This is one of the favourite stories actually. Because obviously, I don't know if everybody knows that Simon's a Liverpool fan, which disgusts me. What Simon used to do was on a Saturday, he used to get about 10 to 3 and he would just disappear. So, well, where's he going? So we went round and knocked on his front door and here he is sitting there, he's got the Liverpool scarf on, his full replica strip, socks, in front of teletext. 90 minutes of teletext, and how exciting can you get? But, I mean, on a personal level, Simon's a fantastic friend, and he's a friend for life. You know, he's moved to the other end of the world, and I still kind of get rid of him. But he's a credit to everybody that knows him. He's a credit to his family, and obviously Frank and Ray, you know, to be part of the family, he's a credit to them as well, a credit to Laura. I think it's a spot on gentleman, you know. Which leads us on to the final thing, and as part of being the best man, I couldn't let him get away without showing some embarrassing photos from the years.
I think this is my cue.
But I just say that some of them were a bit sort of so basically this was Simon on a stag do there. I don't know if you can see it. It was more in one leg outfit. On that one there, I don't know if everybody can see, but he's actually wearing some high heels. And the high heels he had were a perfect fit. And he quite enjoyed them. But to be honest, he was a good sport. He put it on the train and he wore it all day in Edinburgh, even though it was about -10. I was a bit concerned at one point where I thought he had hypothermia. This is a one of Simon on a lad's holiday. He's not blind there, by the way. Just looks it. But what we did was it was an experiment where if somebody's asleep, then you put the you see that you put the hand into a bowl of water. Rumour had it that they wet themselves. So you can imagine what happened there. So they did actually wet themselves. This one's quite disturbing, so. But there is Simon sitting on the balcony on his holidays.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that. Really, what should have happened was I should have done this speech after your birth because. To be honest, you probably think, is he a nudist or anything like that? But I think what happened was we pinched his clothes. So, yeah. This one. There's a streaker there in Benidorm. No, it was Simon. The fastest man in Benidorm. So basically, it was just to obviously give a reference to Simon. He's a top guy, and he's a credit to everyone who knows him and his family. I'd just like to everybody to stand and raise a toast to this.
Nice one, Michael.